Before we begin, thank you very much to Disney fans LJK for joining the Patreon campaign. Thank you very much for the support. Really do appreciate it. That Patreon keeps this channel going. I am not exaggerating when I say that. So, if you want a shout out, if you want access to my Discord, if you want a video request, then please, by all means, let me know and sign up on the Patreon. That's where you get all of that stuff. And thank you very much for doing so. It is Monday, which means it is News Roundup Day. And we've got some weird stuff. There's not a lot of toy reveal stuff because we kind of blew it on that a few weeks ago. But we got a lot of stuff that we can touch on. For instance, we have some new interviews on upcoming Transformer movies, starting with a lot of stuff on Transformers 1. We're going to get all the Transformers 1 news out of the way right away. And it starts with the interview with director Josh Cooley, who describes a lot of the process of making the movie. Now, I'm not going to read you the entire thing. Obviously not. You go read this on TFW 2005 for yourself. But I will tell you, what I will tell you is that the big takeaways from the interview are apparently the gladiatorial fights was something that they had planned for the movie but ended up getting cut because in order to get the cast together, Optimus and Megatron had to kind of start from the same place. You know, when you're confined to the length of a movie, you can't get literally everything in, so Megatron's background as a gladiator had to go. So more like on the IDW functionist side of things, he's a mine worker, the same as same as Orion Pax. So that's where we start off. So they describe that and why he's not a gladiator, which is cool for them to acknowledge. And apparently ILM did the work to make Cybertron itself, which is, they are the ones responsible for making it more lively instead of just kind of being a dead planet, which we kind of know Cybertron as a dead planet, but this is in the past, right? So it's a prequel. So I do appreciate that approach. So those are the two really big takeaways. I'll let you read everything else on your own. Suffice to say, it's a lot of interesting stuff. The movie is 3 months out, and I just realized I'm going to be at a convention in San Diego when that movie drops, so I'm not even going to get to see it opening weekend. That's brutal. That's brutal. Hey, Paramount, I'm TJ frickin' Omega. Send me an early screener copy, please. Thank you. Love you. Moving on. You do actually get to go to a theater for this movie. You will get to see the brand new big standee that is there because they're apparently putting so much marketing into this. It's going to be one of those like big take your photo with this thing movies, which is cool. It's cool to see like big standees and stuff. This is always the kind of stuff where I'm like I want to know someone at a movie theater to send me one when they're done with it because I know they just trash them. I don't have any place for it to go, but I still want one. I'll figure it out later. I have a toy store. I'll clear space. But we'll see. We'll see. Like it's cool photo op stuff. I hope this is like one of the ones. I can't see it from let's see. Is there any other angle? There's no other angle. I want this to be one of the ones where you can just like walk behind the front piece and like stand in the middle of it when you get your photo. Those are the more fun ones. Doesn't look like it, but that would have been cool. But still, fun stuff. The same exact picture is now as a billboard that you can see. So they are definitely dropping some heavy advertisement on this. There is a lot of hype to the movie, I'm finding out. Because like we got word that the movie's apparently really, really good. That's really, really good to hear. Apparently went over great at early screenings. I'm optimistic. I'm getting more optimistic as we go. Wait a minute. This poster says September 20th. This post says September, like this thing. Hang on. Okay, that's November 20th. Where did I just read? This post says September 24th. I'm getting screwed up. Who, hang on. I'm live. This is fascinating content now because this is bugging me. Now I'm live checking my, calendar. No, the 24th is a Tuesday. Okay, no, it's the 20th. That makes sense. Maybe I can watch it. Maybe I can. Oh, well. Let's move on to something else. Let's move on to something that's more interesting than me checking my itinerary. we have a few more production shots of upcoming toys, including like the one-step changers, like the new style of flip-around toys. So we've seen most of these before. It's mostly just how the gimmick actually functions. I like how they've done this render, so it looks like Wheeljack's details just like magically appear. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. Maybe it all flips back. Like maybe that actually is how it works. There's Arachnid up close. She seems like she's going to work in a really creepy way, which is actually very, very good. I like that. Megatron or D16, depending on when in the movie this is seen. It's an interesting tank mode. Like I would really go for like a full tank mode Megatron in that style, because that's an interesting design. I kind of like that. And then there's Orion. There's Sentinel Prime. This tiny little starship. Yeah, a lot of these we've seen. There's like all the packaging things we've seen. We just get some nicer photos with the backdrop now. It's basically the only change. These toys still look nice. They do look a little bit more simple than, say, like the Generations figure. They look more on par with like Earthspark or, you know, Cyberverse Deluxes. But that doesn't necessarily mean they are going to be bad toys. We will still be fair. We'll give them a chance. Yeah, there's the B127. Yeah, just standard stuff, standard stock photo stuff. But good to see if you want a closer look at some of the upcoming things. We also have one more interview, and this is with the clown in charge himself, D. Bonaventura, talking about the upcoming Transformers G.I. Joe crossover movie, which again, there's only a few interesting things to glean, which thankfully TFW has simplified for us. The story will keep in a small scale with not many characters. Considering we are dealing with both Transformers and G.I. Joe, that does seem tricky. So I'm hoping that somehow Cobra manages to be a threat to the Autobots so that we don't have to work in Decepticons on this as well. Because it does feel like this movie is going to have a lot of gears turning at the same time. So I don't really trust them when they say... small scale. He's pushing for 6 main characters between Transformers and G.I. Joe. So you're literally, you're going to have to limit Transformers to like 2 or maybe 3 characters. So like literally it's going to be Optimus, Bumblebee, and probably Mirage, and then what? Duke, Scarlet, and Snake Eyes, and that's basically going to be like your main 6, and everyone else is going to be an afterthought. I mean, I could see them doing that. I really could. Confirms Chris Henworth has been contacted. They didn't identify the role, whether he'd be a Joe, or if he was actually, because he wouldn't be a bad Duke. He wouldn't be a bad Duke. Or maybe like the potential of continuing his role as Optimus Prime, because let's be honest, Peter Cullen's in his 80s. He can't do this forever. I haven't minded his portrayal so far, so I wouldn't mind hearing it again. Would be weird shifting to a new voice mid-franchise. And he does mention he'd like to have Rise of the Beast, Mirage, and Cobra Commander in the movie. I mean, if you're gonna make Cobra a threat to a Transformer, you're gonna need Cobra Commander in there to mastermind the whole thing. And then Mirage is like the one carryover you really need to do, because like I really feel like Mirage took off. I think he's like the best takeaway from that movie. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that comes to pass. I'll let you read the rest of it yourself. Once again, the interview's up on TFW 2005. And we're just sitting and waiting for the rest of it. Let's see. Moving on. Let's look at a few toys, shall we? There is behind-the-scenes stuff for the upcoming Deluxe G1 Toy Optimus Prime. The behind-the-scenes is very limited in this one. Mark Clonis just kind of shared a transformation video. Here's a big shock. It transforms like the G1 Optimus Prime toy. The only real difference being the fact that the hands flip up into these forearms that open up, because now they're thick enough to hold the fists. And then everything else pretty much just works the way you would expect on a G1 style Optimus Prime. It's interesting to see these kind of behind the scenes on these things. Sometimes it's just fluff material. Sometimes it actually is kind of cool. But in this figure especially, because it is a very simple figure. it does very feel like we have Missing Link at home. But seeing the things that have switched up, and the things that are different from a normal deluxe Transformer. For instance, this one does have rubber tires. This one does have, some advanced articulation. That there's some weird things that this has that the Missing Link doesn't. Missing Link got an ab crunch, but this one got a front panel that folds up. So we'll see how it turns out. It should be fun. It should be fun. And there's a few repaints of this one. I would absolutely take in a heartbeat. Give me a white Magnus out of this one. I will buy it in a heartbeat. I don't care if it has the armor or not. We also have a little bit of behind the scenes on the GoBots set. Nothing too much. Did confirm, entirely, they wanted to make sure that the Guardian emblem ended up on the flag. So it's a cool use of the flag, which is still the dumbest accessory. But yeah. He really just, I always wish Pathfinder as a G1 GoBot, I really wish he had actually done a little bit different with the color scheme. Because he really does just kind of look like Cosmos if you, like, tint shifted him a little bit. I wish he was just a little bit different, that's all. Still looks nice in the blue. The toy looks nice in the blue. There's the group shot, Road Ranger in there too. He didn't have Bug Bite on hand at the time. Yeah, I was reminded that the head is more attuned, more akin to like some previous depictions of this one in art. So it is somewhat accurate to like Smallfoot's previous Transformer depictions, pink face included. I think the pink face still looks weird, but I accept it because it is accurate. They threw in this pink weapon. Her gun was going to be pink according to the factory. So this mentions that the final prototype the final version is going to be silver, but Mark actually mentioned chrome, that the gun would actually be chromed. I don't know how accurate that's going to be because it's been a hot minute since they did chrome as a weapon accessory on a Hasbro toy. I wouldn't mind it because chrome was a big deal on every GoBot toy. A lot of them had chrome faces or heads. So I wouldn't be bothered by its inclusion, especially on an accessory weapon that generally isn't going to be harmed by it. Here is Treads, who is a very simple again, a very kind of simple repaint of Warpath, but it looks good in green, and Warpath does not get repainted a lot, so good to see. Yeah, we're still missing a bad boy to complete the original 6, and then there's all of the others. I keep meaning to make a video, either about GoBots that could make it into Transformers like this, or ones that already exist in Transformers, and it's just a matter of applying the same little workaround to a different mold. We will see how it turns out, though. So far, looking cool. I am looking forward to the set, and I do still need to dig up a Road Ranger to go with it now, which is annoying, because I'm sure the aftermarket on it is already jumping. We got a very weird preliminary look at Road Pig, who's going to be one of the Star Raiders in the next Walmart line. It's pretty much what we expected. It's the Junkion motorcycle, which already had a lot of the detailing that you'd need for an accurate Road Pig figure, so no big surprise. It's showing how you can sidecar him with bits of Lockdown. Now, if they're both done in like similar colors, this would actually work out pretty well. Like to my recollection, Road Pig is a black figure, and combining it with Lockdown means, the parts will go well together. So at least there's some thought in that I like. But other than that, it's just a confirmation that the toy exists. We have not seen any official images of it or unofficial, but this proves that it got out somewhere. So probably won't take very long before we see the whole thing. We have reported on the rumors that Earthspark is getting canceled after Season 2. The toy line and the show both kind of getting cut short compared to what we normally expect out of a Transformer cartoon. However, the solicitations for the replacement line have apparently already gone to the stores, which is kind of crazy. So I kind of speculated that Season 2 went back to status quo. It's kind of like a knee-jerk reaction from Hasbro over the reaction that Season 1 was getting early in its production, or like early in its release. This would corroborate it. Like if they were to to already have like a product line and like actual examples of what they are selling, the things you would need in order to solicit this to retailers, in order to actually have that, they would have had to be in production for a while now. So if they've already got the replacement to a point where they can sell it to the big stores, that means this cancellation came a long time ago. And it would kind of back up the idea that Season 2 of Earthspark is playing it safe specifically because they're trying to take it, they pulled the ripcord a little bit earlier than we had thought. Weird. It's unfortunate because I still really like that series. I still think I think there's things in it that are a breath of fresh air that we desperately need in this franchise. I'm just hoping that, the next series come out isn't just safe. I think if the next series that comes out is safe, it's not going to go well for them. But we will see. You'll see. Let's look in on Blockies, who showed off their classic class series of toys, which is going to be based on the 2007, the original Bayverse designs. They've already done Rise of the Beast designs in this toy line, so you can see the 07 movie one is a little bit bigger, and it seems to use some more intricate parts than the previous ones did, which is kind of interesting to see. Kind of cool. If my scroll will work, we can see some little effect parts to go on the base as well. I think that comes with it. Don't quote me. Yeah, there's a Megatron as well in this lineup. They look like they're much bigger. They look like they're bigger, just like sales-wise. I don't mean just like, yeah, obviously they're bigger compared to the old ones. Okay, Megatron's got a base to him too, so maybe that is something included. Yeah, they look like kind of like DX releases compared to the other ones. Interesting. It's interesting to see the line expanding. That's kind of cool. And I like that they're a little bit bigger and a little bit more featured, but they're not so big that they're like totally out of place. Speaking of Blockies, we also got to look at their full Wave 4, so we can take a look at all the ones we didn't get to see before. There's the Shockwave with some translucent effect in the chest, looking very, very nice. Yep. And there's your Nemesis Prime, who, interestingly enough, it's the G1 Nemesis, but he comes with the stuff that the power of the Prime's Nemesis Prime had. So, like the double barrel cannons, the shape of the sword is accurate to that version of the toy. Interesting design, interesting choices for the character. We have Ultra Magnus with some detailed circuits in the chest window. That's a unique thing. We got Tarn, which is leaning toward his Cyberverse color scheme, it seems. There's Smokescreen. Wave 1 had Blue Streak and Prowl, so they waited a while to complete the trio. More Constructicons, more Dinobots. We've seen some of these already. We're going to get a closer look at these very soon. I'll let you in on that right now. But yeah, these are just fun. These just look fun. I like the styling to them. I'm kind of eager to get more of these. So, that's Blockies. Let's see. What else do we got here? So, they announced a Compendium Volume 1. Skybound is releasing Transformers Marvel comic issues 1 through 44, plus Headmasters 1 through 4, all in one edition. So if you've not had your chance to get some of those old Marvel issues, here's a really good chance of getting a hold of those. I'm going to presume Compendium Volume 2 is going to be the rest of the Marvel run, and then either the movie comics or potentially the G2 run. Not really sure. I'm wildly speculating there. No clue. But if you've been missing out on the Marvel comics, you got it. You got an option coming. Good on you. Mob Control announced a brand new collaboration with Transformers. Optimus Prime coming to the game. It's a tower defense style game, which means I haven't played it, because tower defense is not my style of game. They've already done Bumblebee, which is super weird aesthetics, like kind of like dumpy like G1, but it's the evergreen version. Kind of weird. But yeah, if it's a game you play, you're going to have a little bit more Transformer love coming your way. We have a first ever game room powered by Hasbro opening up at the American Dream Mall. See, announced the grand opening of the world's very first The Game Room, powered by Hasbro, set for June 26th. The 41,500 square foot entertainment center offers an energetic and vibrant atmosphere featuring arcade games, attractions, retail, and full-service dining, anchored by Hasbro brands. So we didn't really get a strong look at this. These are very small. But it seems to be games and arcade games that are actually based on like Hasbro properties. So you got like, and if you've been to a Dave and Buster's or any kind of your local like arcade thing that has, like, the stuff, then there's arcade games for Transformers, VR games for Transformers. We see there's ones for Connect 4 and Hungry Hippos. So it's going to be loaded with a bunch of ticket games like that. It seems, let's see if we zoom through here. Yeah, we got typical dining experience for a place like this. Yeah, laser tag apparently. G.I. Joe Battle Station. G.I. Joe based laser tag would actually be kind of sick. Ultimate Roller Games. Probably doesn't have anything to do with Optimus's trailer. Game Room Eats, yeah. Game Bar. Oh, that's cute. The Scrabble numbers. I see that. Candyland Shake Bar. Okay, that's a fun use for Candyland. So, don't know how well Transformers is going to mix into it, but we know there's arcade games for it at least. And apparently they're doing retail stuff there. So apparently, maybe you might be able to just go to America Dream Mall to get your Transformers. I don't know. It's opening June 26th, just a couple days. So maybe we'll get some in-hand reports and we'll actually see it a little bit better for next week. And to finish us off, Symbiote Studios announced a brand new plush that is going to be exclusive to San Diego Comic-Con. And I want it. It is Battle Damage Sludge. It is specifically the one scene from the original movie that we know, like where like Sludge gets double hammered by Devastator and his eyes fall out of his head very cartoonish and float above his head. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. I'm all for this. I kind of want it. But that is it for our news for the week. A lot of weird, eclectic stuff, but hey, that kind of makes it a little bit more interesting to talk about. So, that is your news. You are now caught up, and we will do this again, of course, next Monday, as we always do. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I will see you next time.